Alright, so now we need to create an ad group. And let's take a step back for a second, talk about the difference between campaigns and ad groups. As you can see there, it's at the campaign level that you set your budget and your geographic targeting and your ad scheduling and those kinds of things. So if you need to have, if you need to separate whatever you're advertising based upon budget or based upon location targeting, you'll need separate campaigns. But if you have related concepts, related series of keywords that kind of all can fall under a general concept, then you can throw those all into one campaign and separate them by ad groups. So in this case, I'm going to create a couple ad groups here. I'm going to create an ad group targeting people specifically looking to buy umbrellas, which remember is very consistent with the name of the campaign, which is also buy umbrellas. I'm going to create a text ad, which is the normal kind of ad. A dynamic search ad is something I don't recommend. It's pretty advanced. A mobile app engagement is only if you've got an app, which most people don't. And a call-only ad is a relevant type of ad, but typically we do that in its own separate campaign, which I can talk about more later on. So let's just do a text ad for now. And I will talk about how to craft really great ads that drive conversions, but we haven't gotten there yet. So let's just put in some kind of default text here, and we'll go back and change it later on. So let's just say buy umbrellas, test. We're going to do example.com as our URL. Put that again down there. Oops. There we go. All right. So that's just that for now, and you don't need to worry about URLs for mobile or add URL options. And then we can add keywords to our ad group. And this is not the best place to add keywords. Once we create the campaign and ad group, it's easier to add them in later. So I'm just going to put in one keyword right now for buy umbrellas. And that's a broad match modify keyword because of those plus signs there. And then I'll set maximum cost per click, or what the highest is that you would pay for a click on that keyword. Right now the default bid is $1. Just going to leave it there. And I'm going to set up billing later. So I will click that option down here. Alright, so this is the user interface that you're going to be most familiar with. This is what life is going to look like from moving forward. Let's go up here to the campaign level for a second and take a look at things. Alright, so right now we just have one campaign, buy umbrellas. We're going to add some more later on. But you can see that you've got ad groups underneath there. They're listed both down here and also down here on the left. And if you want to look at the campaign settings, we can go here, and you'll see all the stuff that we just selected when we set it up is all listed here, along with some specific tabs, one for locations, one for ad schedule, one for devices where you'd add you change the bids on specific device types. And then you have a tab for ads, which you can see the test ad that we built there. And you've got one for keywords. And then audiences, which we'll talk about when we talk about the display network. Audiences is not relevant to search network campaigns in most instances. And then you've got ad extensions. This is where we'll add our ad extensions. And then the dimensions tab is just a reporting tab. And we can talk about that more later. But it's just where you can see different things on a reporting side about your campaigns. So we've got the buy umbrellas ad group. Let's go ahead and add another ad group under this campaign. So say we're going to put together some keywords about buying umbrellas or purchasing umbrellas into this ad group here. Let's create a new ad group, go up to the campaign level, go to the ad groups tab, and hit new ad group. All right. And let's call it, instead of buy umbrellas, let's call it cheap umbrellas. So here we would put keywords related to inexpensive umbrellas, affordable umbrellas, cheap umbrellas, and we could write separate ad copy about that. Let's go ahead and add a keyword here. All right, cheap umbrellas. Put a default bid in there, set up billing later, move forward. All right, so you can see we now have 2 ad groups within this campaign. They both share the same campaign level settings as far as budget and targeting and ad schedule, etc. But they're basically buckets for different types of keywords. You can see here they're buckets essentially, and then you can have different ads per ad group. All right, let's go ahead and create another campaign. I'll show you something different. Let's go to the campaign level here. And you can see this option up here says your account isn't active. To activate your account, you need to enter your billing information. Your ads will not show until you enter your billing information because Google does not like to give things away for free. Surprise, surprise. All right. So we need to get to the campaigns tab so that we can add a new campaign. There we go. Finally showed up there. That's kind of a little glitch in AdWords. You have to click and refresh a couple times initially to get this campaigns tab to show up sometimes. So be aware of that. If you run into that, you may just be experiencing that little glitch, and just work through it. You'll get there. So here you can see we can create new campaigns, create another search network only campaign. And for this one, we're going to be a little bit more targeted. Let's say we want to sell Hawaiian umbrellas, those special fancy umbrellas, but only to people who live in California. So we're going to create a separate campaign so that we can have separate geographic targeting. And we'll spell, or we will type the name in here, Hawaiian umbrellas. If I can spell it right, that would be a good thing. All right, and actually I'm going to copy that because we need to change to all features. Hit OK. All right, we have to paste that name back in there. Okay, so we can just move down here. We just want to target California. So let's add California. You can see that Google thinks that there are about 30 million people in California that they can reach. So that's a helpful tool there. And let me show you some of the different targeting options while we're right here. So you can target counties. Like you can target, here we go, there's Tarrant County in Texas. You can target towns or cities like Seattle, Washington. You can target specific airports. You can target TV regions, the Nielsen DMA regions. You can target zip codes. You can target some specific neighborhoods if Google has specific data about them. You can also do radius targeting. So for example, we could target a 20-mile radius around California. Let's type that in there. And boom, we could add that. We could, you can target congressional districts. That's another option. So there's a lot of different targeting options. And you could type a bunch of locations in here if you wanted to, or you could also look at location groups. You can look at places of interest within a certain area. You can target specific demographics within an area, like household income tier. So you could target the top 10% of household incomes within California if you wanted to. And that data is just based upon some third-party data. It's very, very rough and estimated. It's not perfect, but it can be interesting to try out. Let's just go back to search here, and let's remove this radius since it's extraneous to what we're doing, and hit done. All right, default bid $1, budget $100 per day, delivery method accelerated. Oops, there we go. And don't worry about ad extensions right now. Don't worry about any of that. Save and continue. And let's create some quick ad groups here. Once again, we've got Hawaiian. Can't spell Hawaiian. Here we go. Let's just call it Hawaii umbrellas. All right, and once again, this is just default ad text. I would not recommend this ad at all. All do that and set up billing later. There we go. So now you can see this campaign and ad group structure here. At the campaign level, you have budgets and different campaign types and targeting. And then when you dive into an ad group, then you have ad groups which contain the keywords and ads, etc. So I hope that's helpful. Just get an overview again of the structure of campaigns and ad groups, and then also we looked at the settings for each campaign and talked about those in detail.